Welcome back to our channel, where we gather to share our enduring love for the drama, the romance, and the unforgettable moments of Port Charles. It is a wonderful day to sit back with a warm cup of coffee and dive deep into the lives of the characters we have considered family for decades. Let us explore the latest twists together. As we look toward the horizon of Port Charles, specifically the tumultuous and highly anticipated weeks of mid-July, there is a profound sense of impending heartbreak and explosive drama centered entirely around the Ashford family. Those of us who have followed this show for years, perhaps even decades, know that the writers have a particular talent for pushing our beloved characters to the absolute brink of human endurance. Right now, there is no storyline that exemplifies this agonizing tension quite like the one surrounding Portia Robinson and Curtis Ashford. We are currently watching a masterclass in suspense as Portia is on the very verge of giving birth. Bringing a new life into the world should be a moment of unparalleled joy, a culmination of love and hope for the future. Yet, in true General Hospital fashion, this sacred moment is being overshadowed by a suffocating cloud of dread, legal peril, and external threats that are converging at the worst possible time. It is a narrative choice that is as compelling as it is emotionally devastating, and I find myself deeply invested in how this couple will possibly survive the coming storm. Let us take a moment to truly examine Portia's current state of mind as she approaches her delivery date. As a dedicated medical professional herself, Portia is acutely aware of the physiological and psychological toll that extreme stress can take on a pregnant woman and her unborn child. She cannot simply compartmentalize the chaos surrounding her. She is living in a constant state of hypervigilance. The pressure she is facing is not just the natural anxiety of childbirth, but an overwhelming, crushing weight brought on directly by Jordan Ashford. Jordan's involvement in this current crisis is a deeply fascinating, albeit frustrating, layer to analyze. We all know the complicated, deeply intertwined history between Jordan, Curtis, and Portia. There is a legacy of love, betrayal, and unresolved feelings that constantly simmers just beneath the surface of their interactions. Now, Jordan is applying immense pressure on Portia and Curtis, and one has to wonder about the true underlying motivations. Is Jordan acting strictly out of a sense of professional duty, enforcing the law without prejudice? Or is there, perhaps subconsciously, a lingering resentment that is causing her to turn the screws just a little bit tighter at this incredibly vulnerable moment? I tend to believe that while Jordan strives to be a professional, the optics of her actions are undeniably harsh, and it makes for incredibly rich, if somewhat uncomfortable, television. This brings us to the agonizing legal predicament currently suffocating Curtis. As we look at the timeline for the week of July 13th through the 17th, we see that Curtis is facing a monumental decision regarding a plea deal. His unresolved legal troubles have been a dark cloud hanging over his marriage for months, but now the consequences are no longer theoretical, they are imminent. The prospect of Curtis being forced to choose whether to accept a plea deal right at the exact moment Portia is going into labor is a scenario that fills me with both absolute dread and undeniable narrative anticipation. It is the classic soap opera staple of simultaneous joy and disaster, executed with a cruel precision. The sheer injustice of a man potentially having to sign away his freedom, or worse, being placed in handcuffs in the delivery room while his wife is bringing their child into the world, is almost too painful to contemplate. As a critic, I appreciate the high stakes, but as a fan, my heart aches for them. The narrative is forcing Curtis into an impossible corner, where every potential choice leads to a devastating outcome for his family. I must take a moment to commend the phenomenal work of Portia Turner during this incredibly dark chapter of the show. The way Turner is acting right now is nothing short of breathtaking. He is infusing Curtis with a palpable sense of desperation, a quiet, simmering panic that is completely at odds with the confident, capable man we have known him to be. Turner's performance is actively making the storyline feel heavier, more urgent, and significantly more tragic. Through his nuanced facial expressions and the sheer exhaustion in his posture, we can see that Curtis's future is growing darker by the minute. He is a man who has always prided himself on being a protector, a provider, and a pillar of strength for the women in his life. To be stripped of that agency, to be rendered powerless by the legal system at the very moment his wife needs him the most, is a psychological torment that Turner is portraying with absolute brilliance. It is this stellar acting that elevates the storyline from a standard legal drama into a profound character study of a man losing his grip on the life he fought so hard to build. But just when we, the audience, think the situation cannot possibly become any more dire, the narrative introduces a terrifying new variable. The revelation that Isaiah is ready to attack adds an explosive, unpredictable element to an already volatile mix. What exactly is Isaiah's endgame, and why choose this precise moment of vulnerability to launch a strike? The answer lies in the classic ruthless strategy of attacking when the enemy is completely distracted. While Curtis is fighting for his freedom and Portia is fighting through the pain of labor, their defenses are completely down. This impending shockwave, orchestrated by Isaiah, forces us to question how much more this family can endure before they completely shatter. An attack from Isaiah right now is not just a physical or tactical threat, it is an emotional violation. It is a cruel reminder that in Port Charles, peace is only ever an illusion, and danger is always waiting just outside the hospital doors. I find myself holding my breath, wondering how this attack will manifest. Will it be a physical confrontation in the corridors of General Hospital, or a devastating piece of information designed to destroy Curtis's legal standing once and for all? In the face of this multifaceted crisis, the looming threat of an arrest during childbirth, the aggressive and relentless pressure from Jordan, the terrifying and imminent attack from Isaiah, and the overwhelming reality of bringing a new baby into this war zone, Portia and Curtis are being pushed past their breaking point. They cannot rely on the law as the system is actively working against them. They cannot rely on time as the baby is coming, whether they are ready or not. Therefore, they are forced to take matters into their own hands. The notion that Portia and Curtis might be driven to make new, unprecedented agreements with each other is the most thrilling aspect of this entire ordeal. What kind of compromises could they possibly forge in the midst of such profound chaos? I suspect they are about to make a desperate pact, a decision that will cross moral and legal boundaries in the name of survival. When pushed into a corner, even the most righteous characters will do whatever it takes to protect their young, and Portia and Curtis are no exception. These new agreements they are contemplating will undoubtedly be explosive. If they decide to manipulate the truth, flee the jurisdiction, or make a dangerous alliance to neutralize Isaiah and stall Jordan, the fallout will be catastrophic. I firmly believe that this is the turning point for their marriage. An ordeal of this magnitude will either forge an unbreakable, diamond-hard bond between them, or it will fracture their relationship beyond repair. As a longtime viewer, I have to ask, are the writers pushing this couple too far into the darkness? My perspective is a complicated one. On one hand, it is incredibly difficult to watch characters we love suffer so deeply and continuously. We want to see them happy, celebrating the birth of their child, surrounded by friends and family. On the other hand, the crucible of tragedy is what makes for legendary television. The writers are stripping away all of Curtis and Portia's comforts to reveal the core of who they truly are. I may not entirely agree with the sheer volume of trauma being heaped upon them simultaneously, but I cannot deny that it is compelling, gripping storytelling that honors the rich history of the genre. Ultimately, the impending explosion of drama surrounding Portia's delivery, Curtis's agonizing legal fate, Jordan's relentless pursuit, and Isaiah's ruthless attack will reshape the landscape of Port Charles forever. The ripples of whatever explosive agreements Curtis and Portia make in that delivery room will be felt by everyone connected to them. Trina will have to grapple with the fallout of her parents' desperate choices. Jordan will have to face the reality of her role in pushing them to the brink. And we, the dedicated audience, will be right here, watching every agonizing, beautiful, tragic moment unfold. It is stories like these that remind us why we have stayed tuned in for all these years. The human spirit's capacity to endure, to fight, and to love in the face of absolute darkness is the true heart of General Hospital. And I, for one, cannot wait to see how Curtis and Portia navigate this impossible storm.